Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a little bit of an overview of where we stand at the end of this year and where we might be looking at the beginning of next, moving into next generally speaking. So, I mean, it goes without saying, or it should go without saying, that really a new year is only just a new year. It's another green or red candle, depending on which time frame you're looking at. It's nothing much different. The overall economic factors that are at play won't change just because it's a new year. They'll be exactly the same. So I'm not really thinking that we should be thinking of, the beginning of 2023 as anything particularly amazing just because it's a new year, new month, new week, new day. It's not really anything other than just another little, line on a chart, to be fair. But when it comes to lines on charts, we've got to try and break it down as best as possible. And, it's nice to see that certain things, altcoins for, that we were looking at last night on the Patreon live stream, like Algo, we highlighted Algo last night as one that was most likely going to have a bit of a turnaround, and we're doing that. So charts still work to some extent, right? It's not all broken, but the fundamentals of the entire economy, well, effectively are broken, or they're still mending. And what I'm talking about effectively mostly is inflation. Secondly is obviously Russia, Ukraine, and whatever takes place over in China. All these sort of things, they're all still there. It's all the same. It's all exactly the same. And and with all of that, we've got to try and navigate, day by day, week by week, to see where we go. So without looking into all these other things, that's what the Patreon's for. Let's just think about Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's doing. We are looking at it here on a 4-hourly. Not that I imagine any of us are going to be trading, or we certainly shouldn't really be trading on New Year's Eve, and I doubt anyone's going to be trading tomorrow. Let's face it. But when it comes to a daily term time frame, it's still pretty much down, sideways and down. It's a mare chart, really. Same thing is going on with Bitcoin that's been going on all week. That, while it's sideways, or at least above 16,500, it does offer opportunity for some altcoins to fulfill their setups, which is, I suppose, what we're kind of seeing today. There's certain things moving up in the green today. And, I also think that there is a good chance that at the beginning of next year, we move our way back up to this trend, the top of this trend line. So just short of 20,000, probably, from what I can see here, we don't really have anything particularly massively to worry about. We still have a bit of bullish divergence on the daily. We'll certainly be having it on the 4-hourly. Yeah, we've had it on the 4-hourly. It's still reasonable as far as the chart is concerned, but the big problem is the longer term picture, which is the weekly. Now the weekly has bullish divergence. That's great. It also has it on the money flow index, which also helped print previous lows. We saw it over here. We saw it over here. And what we think about when we look at this is that, as far as time and cycle is concerned, the low should already be in. It doesn't have to be. We're thinking any time from September to December is on a time scale where a low should have been printed. And so if that's the case, then maybe we've already seen that. If we haven't, it's because of all the other things that I've alluded to before I started even looking at these charts today. We've still got the same problems. It's not a chart that's traded solely on its own. There's all kinds of things behind this chart which have helped move this down. Like last year, I sold a decent portion of crypto and all my stocks because of the Omicron situation. Sold that because I didn't want a repeat of previous March. Right, so I thought I'll get out here and started to layer back in. Stocks, never brought back any stocks. Crypto, a bit here, a bit there, for the most part. Just Bitcoin, which again, didn't really work out too well for me. It was only because of the alt seasons I managed to reclaim some of those losses that from my incremental buybacks. It's been a brutal year. And next year, as far as we can see right now, doesn't particularly want to show us any sign of reversal quite yet. Now, the things that I'll be looking for on this chart, and it's relatively simple, and there are areas that we can think about as far as moving averages are concerned, of where we could start to get excited from. The first one would be in the 10 exponential on your daily, on your weekly. It's sitting around at 17,400 more or less at this current week. Obviously we've been downtrending for so long. These are going to be going down with every week that opens. That's one. The next most important is going to be this 21. So this grey here, which is also hiding behind the trend line of this previous little portion of the consolidation that we moved up. And this is where we started to get pretty excited, really. This is where things started to look quite good. And we started to get brought back down again and again. And then FTX brought us right down. So the 21 exponential is sitting around here in the mid 19,000s this week. You know, this time next month it'll be lower than that. It's probably going to be around 18,500 or so on and so on and so on. Once we've reclaimed those, we could think about a period of, or we could think about looking back in time going, actually, that looks like it probably was a period of accumulation. But until we see that, similar to how we saw it over here, reclaim the 10 exponential, finally got above the 21 and the bull market began. This is the sort of thing that I would be looking for on the longer term timeframes. Now, picking up Bitcoin down at these levels, it's no big deal. It's really no big deal. Like I say, you know, to get yourself a long-term position in Bitcoin, now's I suppose as good as any. It's never going to be the perfect one. There's no situation that we're looking at here on this chart to say that there's a bottom in. Outside of the fact that we did have a capitulation due to an event being FTX, but other than that, there's not really nothing here to say that a bottom has been made. I mean, there are reasonable things that have mimicked the previous bottoms being formed. Giant big red capitulation candle, giant big red capitulation candle, giant big red capitulation candle, and basically could be in a period of accumulation. Operative word being could. Now we know that obviously with everything that I've said at the beginning of the video, you know, it is what it is. You know, we can't change the world that we're living in and the economic environment that all these charts have to live within. We can't change that. But if there is a barometer of what Bitcoin might be able to do, it's the S&P. And I think that the S&P has definitely printed a serious low. It might not be the low, but I'm willing to entertain that it's a very serious low, and we do stay above it for a little bit of time. We could even have a significant rally into next year if we break outside of this descending triangle. Basically, the giant consolidation, the bear market. And it's a very simple chart to look at, to be honest with you. It's very simple. And this is why, you know, when we do these everything bounces, that one, we get out here. When we do the everything bounce, 2.0, we got out here. So now what we're looking for is to see any kind of situation to suggest that this is either going to come down to make a new low, and then we can probably do an everything bounce 3.0, or we actually change the goalpost of this downtrend. Not to say that it won't continue to go down, but we move into a different phase. Whether we break out from here and try to make a new high, or we have a serious sustained rally, maybe off the back of some decent CPI prints, maybe the Fed continue to go tame. And this could all easily be seen on currency and FX pairs. And without boring you to death about all of that now, the same analysis still applies for the euro. I'd be looking for the euro to make a new high. It kind of already is trying to do that. A new high to then get shorted into, and then basically if we remain above 103, things are probably okay. And we will get, I reckon that's when we'll get the everything bounce 3.0. The euro is not the ultimate thing in the world, you know, it's just helping us navigate the Dixie, which has a knock-on effect to all the, the traditional markets, indices, even commodities and crypto as well. So we think about the euro now as, the upside is in the euro's hands. And if the euro continues to go up, then everything else should start to go up because it will correspond to a weaker dollar, and again, that's it gives the bulls the upper hand as opposed to invest some capital. But I would say though, from looking at this chart, especially looking at it here on the weekly, we've had a decent rally now, and the rally is still in the still in the process of continuing. The money flow index on the weekly here is sitting over here at 69. We do get higher than 69 on occasion, but not very often. This is a weekly, by the way. And on the occasions that we do go above 69 and go into the overheated territory, we do mark a significant peak. Again, we're all the way down here, so we've still got a little further to run. Peaks, significant peaks. So I'll be looking for a significant peak, as you can probably guess, to form on the euro, and then that would definitely cause, in my opinion, some downside across everything. It's once that peak gets picked up as a higher low, hopefully, then we go into the everything bounce 3.0. Whether or not crypto is left out again is a different story. I have to think about the whole thing. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling because it's not, like I say, we're not trading here. We're thinking about possibilities for next year. We're looking at the higher term time frames. That's fine. The short term time frames, once I get my head back in the game, start trading again, all the kids back at school and tired of the house, and because obviously you can imagine it's a absolute, it's a madhouse here at the moment. But once we get back getting our heads back into the trading game, we'll start breaking down more and more charts to see what we can do on a daily basis. But still, I feel very strongly that this is going to be the next big swing. It's going to start with it's going to continue with a creeping back up to try and get the most out of this current uptrend on the euro, the current downtrend on the Dixie, the static appearance of stability on the S&P. After we sold this area, and so I think what's likely to occur is something along these lines. Maybe even we reach the top and then come back down, maybe a new low or maybe a higher low. But again, this is all weekly term timeframes. This is looking into January, weeks into January. This isn't going to happen overnight. It's probably not going to happen today. If anything, we're going to see some, a little bit more upside, weak, but still upside until we find that significant peak on the euro, which, could be as low as 108. It could be as high as 1010. It could even reach up to these 200 simple and exponentials on the weekly, by the way, which are obviously going to be a significant resistance. We don't really look at these and forget that they exist. These are the electric fences that can smack us hard in the face. So that is something I am basically looking at on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. A very casual, chilled out trading situation here. I'm not looking to go hard and heavy into anything until we get a rejection on the euro and then get picked up, preferably with a higher low on the weekly. But even so, things look okay for the time being. But this is, in my opinion, the trading environment, and it does require traditional markets to be open. It does require central bankers to talk. It does require, all these stuff in Eastern Europe and beyond to tell us what their particular plans are in 2023. Anyway, I hope you have a happy new year. Enjoy what you've got planned for today. Try and look after yourself tomorrow. And we'll see you all soon. Take it easy.